And in our final activity for this section, we are going to take a look at two different functions. And one will be to compare two different deployed processes, and the second will be to copy a deployed process to the Component Explorer. You'll find this on pages 11 through 14 in your activity guide. And as always, I would encourage you to work through the exercise first and then jump back over here to review the work together. Okay, so in the Build tab, you're going to navigate to the Dev Lifecycle 2 Activity 1, and you can use your Component Explorer, or if it's a recently opened item, you can simply click it there. And we're simply asked to make a change to the map. So I am going to simply give the mailing address a default value, 12 Main Street, and click OK, and save and close. And we're going to also just move the process around a little bit. And click Save. And next we'll click on the View Deployment button in the top right here. And our process should already be selected, and we can click on the gear icon and select Compare Deployment. So the window automatically defaults to latest revision, but if you had different revisions, you'd be able to select your environment and your revision number. We only have one revision of this process right now, so everything is listed as version 1. But for this activity, we will be comparing the latest revision to the Build tab. So we'll simply click Next. And you should see something similar to this, and your results will probably be different depending on how many times you've made changes and saved your changes inside of your process. Here's a couple of things to note. At the very top is listed which deployment versions are compared. So you can see the two versions compared are the first deployment and the latest revision that's in the Build tab. You can see that each separately managed component in the process has its own line in the dialog. So white lines indicate that there is no difference, and yellow lines indicate that there is some difference. An orange line would indicate that this is either a new or deleted component. So from here, you would be able to compare if you have any differences in your Build tab, which is the Compare to revision here on the right, and if it has any differences with what has been deployed. And so you can see here that you can track the differences. If you needed to, you could open up this map to explore the differences and what changed. And similarly, you can look at the process itself to see what has changed. And once you're done here, you can simply click Close. In the next activity, we will copy a deployed version of a process back into the Build tab. So in the Deploy tab and under Process Deployment History, we're going to select one of our deployments and click on the Action menu and then select Copy to Component Explorer. Next, select the plus icon to create a new folder in which to copy this. And this is a good idea. We probably want to keep this separate so as to not mix this up with our currently existing processes. So I will click on the Create Folder option and select my Lifecycle Management folder and enter copy to Build tab exercise. Click Save. And from here I get to select all the components that I want to copy over. And I'll copy all of them over except for the connector for Salesforce. Now the reason I wouldn't want to copy that over is because this creates a new copy, and if I were to ever deploy this, then it would have the same name, it would point to the same place, but they would be two different connectors and therefore count against my license count. So I'm going to use the existing connection, but everything else I want to copy in, so I'll click Save. Click OK. Now let's return to the Build tab and expand our folders here, and we can see copy to build tab exercise has been created for us, and it has all the components copied in. Even though we didn't copy in the connection, the reference is maintained to that original connection object you'll see here. And so this is useful because we want to avoid duplication of connector objects. And that's the end of the activity for being able to copy into the build tab.